Hello, Aaron. I hope you are well. Yes. I would like to begin this little talk, whatever it's going to be on, with a prayer to my Guru and Gurudev. Without his blessings, I can do nothing. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Dhyanamoolam Guru Murti, Pujamulam Guru Padam, Mantramulam Guru Vakyam, Mokshamulam Guru Kripa. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishpapanchaya Shantaya Yaralambaya Tejase. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhanaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitu Mastuma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Oh, and I thought I would talk a little bit about something which is quite close to my heart, and that is communication. Right communication is, of course, made heart to heart. The lockdown has taught us a tremendous amount. It's brought people together from far away who haven't even contacted us for years. So it is a wonderful invention. All the technology which they use today are absolutely fantastic. But the only drawback is that they tend to lose our connection heart to heart, eye to eye. I've seen people having a little celebration, the father giving a sort of meal to the family, desperately wanting to hear how they are, how they're doing. All they do is look at their cell phones, ignoring the rest of the table. That happened a few years ago, I noticed, and I was rather sad about that. So if you find something like that happening, you do your best not to make the same mistakes. So I would like to talk a little bit on communication. Of course, when one is on the same wavelength, it is amazing how one can communicate without even knowing that you're doing so. With our little group at the ashram, because we are a very close group, quite often what one thinks, another thinks at exactly the same time. And there's a tremendous synchronicity. When there's a synchronicity, I think that's a word, then somehow you connect with each other in the right way. We have to do other things, of course. Business has to be done. Many are very, very busy doing all the running of the ashram behind the scenes here during this lockdown. But nevertheless, we do connect. And the connection, of course, is made through prayer. As Swami Shivananda always advocated, japa. Japa is a wonderful way of keeping connection with God, because we tend to lose our connection with God. We get so sort of snarled up with our little jobs that we have to do, that we forget why we're here, what we're here for in the first place. So japa does help very much. But even then, if you're repeating God's name or any mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, or Om anything mantra, any mantra, even just the Om sound, which is a marvelous awakener for anybody. Nevertheless, you can repeat it all the time and have your mind on something else. So when I say my prayers in the morning, for example, I go through a list of prayers. If I find that I'm losing my connection with that prayer, with the words and what it means, I make myself go back to the beginning again and start all over until I actually pray and actually connect with what I am praying for and to whom I am praying. And that is a wonderful sort of lesson to get our concentration on what we are doing. If our concentration goes on what we are doing, it means that you've lost interest in it. And how can you lose interest in God? You can lose interest in some job you're doing, which is a bit mundane, but to lose your interest, or at least your attention on God, that spoils your connection very, very much so. And although we're all on different levels, we're not going to compare one level with another. We're only going to do the very best that we can, as we are at this moment. If you have very little ego, you won't be too upset by your mistakes, because you know that you're not perfect and you don't expect yourself to be perfect. But if you think that you're perfect, then the ego really, really does a lot of damage. So all the time we have to keep connection with that which is eternal, that which exists forever, called God, Brahma, connection, attention, all that leads towards this one and only. You could call it the absolute. You can call it formless or form, but it must be connection with a higher power, which you know, if you can empty yourself and be as nothing, that power will operate through you. And then that means that you are managing to connect with God, and what you say and do is godlike, not manlike. So all these are wonderful lessons that we learn in yoga, and in any scripture you find the same truths clothed in different words. You asked me to sing one or two songs. Well, I've got one which is quite in keeping with what we're doing today, fairly new one, and then one which I think puts across what I'm trying to get at. First of all, I'm only zooming. I'm only zooming until the COVID-19 goes away. I'm only zooming, since nothing lasts, then it will pass some time, someday, and we'll all go back to where we were before, and we'll be zooming no more. That's the one. And the other one is the one which is called "I'm Divided." I know that someday I've got the thing. It's lost. It's lost. That what's lost in my mind. So I'll have to sing another one. I'll do the perfect yogi. Endowed with great humility, he doesn't see stupidity, but sees in all perfection and love the right direction. And even thoughts that bother, he treats as children's mother, or part of family unit. He has a gift to tune it. And even cleaning out a room and using a broom, he does with great affection. He mirrors God's reflection. If we could just do that and empty ourselves, even when you lose something, you forget something, like I've done just now. It's only the ego that did that. The ego draws you away from it. So you have to get back and look at it again and start afresh. And not be too worried, because we know for sure that we haven't reached perfection yet, and hope that one day, by God's grace, by Guru's grace, we will attain that wonderful state of self-realization and moksha, complete freedom. don't know whether there's anything else people like to ask. Swami Vidyadanda will then put the question to me. He's in the next room. Thank you.